Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Vaibhav Jyotsna Srivastav and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha, bringing glimpses of major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. India and Bangladesh signed 5 MOUs in various fields in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his counterpart Sheikh Hasina in Dhaka. Prime Minister Modi says both countries want to see stability, love and peace in the world instead of instability, terror and unrest. US President Joe Biden invites 40 world leaders, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to virtual global summit on climate. Bhutan has launched its biggest inoculation drive against COVID-19 with the vaccines provided by India. In shooting, India's Vijay V. Sidhu and Tejaswini claimed gold in 25-meter rapid-fire pistol mixed team event at the ISSF World Cup in Delhi. And in badminton, Indian men's pair of Krishna Prasad Garga and Vishnu Vardhan storm into finals of Orleans Masters tournament in Paris. As the number of COVID cases are on the rise again, we appeal to our listeners not to lower the guard. Follow all the precautions and all those above 45 years to get vaccinated without any hesitation. Stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now, the news in detail. India and Bangladesh have signed 5 MOUs in various fields to further enhance bilateral ties during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Dhaka. Mr. Modi and his Bangladeshi counterpart Sheikh Hasina held delegation-level talks on Saturday and discussed the progress achieved in areas like health, connectivity, energy, defence and trade. Briefing the media about the visit of Prime Minister Modi to Bangladesh, India's Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla said that both the countries agreed to start a new area of cooperation in the field of civil, nuclear and space sectors. Both leaders agreed that a direct passenger train named Mithali Express will run between Dhaka and New Jalpaiguri.
The two sides agreed to start a new passenger train service which is called Mithali Express between New Jalpaiguri and Dhaka, starting from Dhaka cantonment. On the recently restored Chilahati-Haldibadi rail link, in December the two Prime Ministers inaugurated this 5th of the 6th rail links that existed prior to 1965. It's a very important rail link that connects North Bangladesh with North Bengal in the state of West Bengal. And starting this passenger service really is a recreation of what used to happen before 1965.
Shringla said India gifted 109 ambulances to Bangladesh and also 1.2 million doses of the Covishield vaccine.
India announced the gifting of 109 life support ambulances to support Bangladesh's plans to strengthen its medical emergency response system. Both Prime Ministers were also happy to note that India and Bangladesh have been able to move forward with an efficient and effective policy responses to contain the spread of the pandemic. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina thanked the Prime Minister for providing 102 million doses or 1 crore 2 lakh doses of vaccines, of which 32 lakhs have been delivered as gifts under grants in aid.
After the summit meeting between the Prime Ministers, India said it attaches the highest priority to Bangladesh under its Neighbourhood First policy. Earlier addressing Mathwa community at Orakandi on Saturday, Prime Minister Modi said both India and Bangladesh want to see stability, love and peace in the world instead of instability, terror and unrest. Orakandi is the birthplace of the spiritual guru and founder of the Mathwa community, Hari Chand Thakur. Mr. Modi said both nations want to see the world progressing through their own progress.
भारत और बांग्लादेश दोनों ही देश अपने विकास को अपनी प्रगति से पूरे विश्व की प्रगति देखना चाहते हैं। दोनों ही देश दुनिया में अस्थिरता, आतंक और अशांति की जगह स्थिरता, प्रेम और शांति चाहते हैं। यही मूल्य, यही शिक्षा श्री श्री हरिचांद ठाकुर देव जी ने हमें दी थी।
The Prime Minister said during the corona pandemic, India and Bangladesh have proven their capabilities. He said both nations are facing this pandemic strongly and fighting it together. Mr. Modi said that India considers its duty that Made in India vaccines reach the citizens of Bangladesh.
कोरोना महामारी के दौरान भारत और बांग्लादेश दोनों ही देशों ने अपने इस सामर्थ्य को सिद्ध करके दिखाया है। आज दोनों ही देश एक साथ मिलकर इस महामारी का मजबूती से मुकाबला कर रहे हैं। मेड इन इंडिया वैक्सीन बांग्लादेश के नागरिकों तक भी पहुंचे, भारत इसे अपना कर्तव्य समझकर काम कर रहा है।
The Prime Minister announced aid for upgradation of middle school for girls at Orakandi.
ओराकांदी में भारत सरकार लड़कियों के मिडिल स्कूल को अपग्रेड करेगी, नई आधुनिक सुविधाएं जोड़ेगी। साथ ही भारत सरकार द्वारा यहां एक प्राइमरी स्कूल भी स्थापित किया जाएगा। ये भारत के करोड़ों लोगों की तरफ से श्री श्री हरिचंद ठाकुर जी को श्रद्धांजलि है। हम बांग्लादेश सरकार के भी आभारी हैं जो इस कार्यक्रम में हमारा सहयोग कर रही है। भारत के मेरे भाई बहनों के लिए ये तीर्थ यात्रा और आसान बने, इसके लिए भारत सरकार की तरफ से प्रयास और बढ़ाए जाएंगे। ठाकुर नगर में मोतवा संप्रदाय के गौरवशाली इतिहास को प्रतिबिंबित करते भव्य आयोजनों और विभिन्न कार्यों के लिए भी हम संकल्पबद्ध हैं।
Mr. Modi also paid tribute at the mausoleum of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman in Tungipada. India released a silver coin to commemorate 50 years of the establishment of diplomatic ties between the two countries. Bangladesh also released a gold coin to commemorate the Mujibur Show. Prime Minister Modi and his Bangladeshi counterpart laid the foundation stone for the construction of a memorial at Ashuganj for the martyrs of the Indian Armed Forces in the 1971 Liberation War of Bangladesh. Bangladesh Prime Minister presented a gold and a silver coin released on the occasion of the birth centenary of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman to Prime Minister Modi. PM Modi's visit took place at a time when Bangladesh is commemorating the Mujibur Show, the birth centenary of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and 50 years of the country's war of liberation. We now go live to Dhaka to have more details from the Prime Minister's visit to Bangladesh. Rajesh, tell us more about the outcome of today's bilateral meeting between the two Prime Ministers. What were the focus areas discussed during the bilateral talks?
Well, if you look at the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Bangladesh in terms of the output, this visit has been highly successful. The two-day visit of Prime Minister Modi resulted in several MOUs being signed, inaugurations done and announcements made. The MOUs covered a whole range of issues. India and Bangladesh signed 5 MOUs in the field of disaster management, ICT, establishment of sport facilities and a framework cooperation in the field of trade remedial measures. To honor the Indian martyrs of the 1971 Liberation War, the foundation stone of the first memorial at Ashuganj was laid. Also, the foundation stone for the infrastructure development for power evacuation facilities at the Rooppur nuclear power plant was laid. Rooppur nuclear power plant is a very important component of the line of credit that India has extended to Bangladesh. In addition, in the field of health cooperation, Prime Minister Modi gifted 109 life support ambulances and also gave 1.2 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines to Bangladesh. Another very important thing to which people of Bangladesh were looking forward was the announcement about a direct passenger train between Dhaka and New Jalpaiguri. Prime Minister Modi also announced 1,000 Subarno Jayanti scholarships for Bangladeshi students for undergraduate and postgraduate studies. Students in Bangladesh look forward to institutions of higher education in India for higher studies, and this scholarship will be a great help to these students. These projects definitely will greatly benefit people. The direct train will connect Bangladesh to North Bengal, opening new possibilities of tourism in the northeast. A supply of vaccine indeed is a great timely help to a friendly country at a time of global crisis. These are widely appreciated in Bangladesh. Overall, you can say the visit was highly successful in cementing the historically strong ties as well as opening new vistas of cooperation between the two countries.
One important thing, Rajesh, during this visit was that Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with all cross-sections of Bangladeshi people. He met political party leaders, including members of opposition parties, young entrepreneurs, members of the Bora and Mathwa community. What message does this give to the people of both countries? Would this gesture help to further boost the people-to-people connection between the two countries?
Of course, Prime Minister Modi meeting with a large cross-section of people in Dhaka and outside Dhaka has been a major factor during his two-day visit to Bangladesh. You know, India shares a deep cultural and linguistic tie with Bangladesh. Historically, the connect at the cultural level has been a great source of strength for the India-Bangladesh friendship. In Dhaka, he met sports persons, actors, youth icons of Bangladesh, community leaders, liberation war fighters, leaders of the ruling as well as opposition alliances. And his meetings were greatly appreciated by the people for its warmth and understanding. Prime Minister Modi visited places of historic and heritage importance outside Dhaka during his two-day visit. In his visit to these places, he announced establishment of a cyclone shelter and a primary school. So these announcements were meant for the people of that area, and these were very warmly received. All these measures contributed in real and symbolic terms towards the enhancement of the people-to-people ties and cultural connect between the two countries.
That was our Dhaka special correspondent Rajesh Jha. Talking to AIR News, former diplomat Veena Sikri said that Prime Minister Modi's visit to Bangladesh has been a very important and milestone visit for several reasons.
Prime Minister Modi's visit to Bangladesh has been a very, very important and milestone visit for several reasons. In the first place, it is a celebratory visit. Bangladesh and India are jointly celebrating the Golden Jubilee of Bangladesh Liberation War, the Golden Jubilee of Bangladesh-India diplomatic relations, and the birth centenary of father of the nation of Bangladesh, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Now, these were all very significant events. 50 years ago, Bangladesh and India were shoulder to shoulder, brothers in arms, both fighting together to repel the genocidal attack by Pakistan on the people of the then East Pakistan, and now it is Bangladesh. And the way that Bangladesh and India fought together, shed their blood together, the people of Bangladesh recall it with great respect and admiration even today. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina spoke yesterday in her message at the Golden Jubilee celebrations. Prime Minister Modi was guest of honor at the Golden Jubilee celebrations yesterday of the Liberation War, and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina spoke with great affection and regard for India, for Prime Minister Modi, for what the two countries have done for each other, how they have worked together, what it means to Bangladesh that India was with them 50 years ago. And today, Bangladesh and India are still together. We have a wonderful relationship, a strong relationship, and we are looking forward to taking it to the next level, and a new golden chapter is opening in our relationship. The relationship between Bangladesh and India has developed in every sector possible. Energy, trade, investment, connectivity, infrastructure, and it is very much a people-to-people relationship. Bangladesh-India issues about 1.6 million visas every year for the people of Bangladesh to visit India. They come for education, for pilgrim, for tourism, for business, and for a whole number of other reasons. And I think that this kind of close, intense relationship between two neighboring countries who share a very long border, you do not see this anywhere in the world. It is a great success, and we want to take it to the next level. Now, when I spoke about connectivity and infrastructure development between India and Bangladesh, this is today emerging as a very important aspect of the bilateral relationship, because through this connectivity and infrastructure, Bangladesh and India are building the blocks. We are repairing the fences. We are repairing the broken infrastructure that was there, broken in 1965. In 1965, after the India-Pakistan war, the then government of East Pakistan broke asunder all these linkages which were there for millennia. It was never any problem in Bangladesh and India, the people traveling across, visiting each other by road, by rail, by water. All this was stopped. not. But today, in the last few years, thanks to the very much growing and positive relationship between Bangladesh and India, all these linkages are being repaired one by one. Now, recently there was a World Bank report which said that this connectivity and infrastructure development between Bangladesh and India can contribute 17% and more to the GDP of Bangladesh and 7% and more to the GDP of India. This is a very strong factor, which means that both Bangladesh and India can benefit from this joint development of connectivity and infrastructure links, because it will boost trade and investment and economic cooperation. And one more thing, the Bangladesh-India cooperation today is very significant for India's Act East policy. Bangladesh is bridge country between South Asia and Southeast Asia, and Bangladesh has expressed interest in joining projects like the India-Myanmar-Thailand trilateral highway to bring Bangladesh very much into the relationship with Southeast Asia. There is also BIMSTEC, which is headquartered in Bangladesh and which will also contribute a great deal to India's Act East policy. So the development of these connectivity and infrastructure links, the development of the friendship between India and Bangladesh is significant for South Asia.
Renowned Bangladesh historian Professor Muntasir Mamoon has lauded the role of Akashvani in consolidating the public opinion during the liberation war of Bangladesh. In an exclusive interview with AIR News, he said Akashvani acted like not only a true friend, but also a fighter who fought for Bangladeshis.
Akashvani was like not only a friend, but a fighter, like a soldier who fought for us. So I came here to Delhi and to Akashvani in search of those materials, those things which were broadcasted in 1971 to enrich our archive. Akashvani played a tremendous role in consolidating the public opinion against Pakistani. And not only that, they gave us confidence that one day we will win.
The relationship between India and Bangladesh is anchored in history, culture, language and shared values of secularism and democracy. On the occasion of the 100th birth anniversary of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, India and Bangladesh are together making a film titled Bangabandhu by the renowned film director Shyam Benegal. Bengali movies are popular on both the sides, and Bangladeshi artists like Nusrat Faria, who featured in two Indo-Bangladeshi film projects, Ashiki and Hero 420, echoes the sentiments of our shared passions. Bangladesh has been the country in focus at the 51st International Film Festival of India, IFFI, at Goa in January this year. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
3 steps to stay protected and stay safe from COVID-19. Wear face mask, 2 gaz ki duri to maintain social distancing, maintain hand and face hygiene.
More than 5.81 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine have been administered in India so far. The Indian Ministry of Health and Family Welfare informed on Saturday that over 26 lakh doses of vaccines have been administered in the past 24 hours. Meanwhile, the country's COVID-19 recovery rate stands at 94.84%. Bhutan has launched its biggest inoculation drive against COVID-19 with the AstraZeneca shots provided by India. Ninda Dima, a 30-year-old bureaucrat, became the country's first to receive the shot at a school-turned vaccination center in the capital Thimphu. The Himalayan nation has been able to slow the spread of the virus with early screening and monitoring at entry points, testing and sealing of borders. According to government data, total infections stand at 870, with 1 death from COVID-19 since the pandemic began. The country of about 8 lakh people, Bhutan received 1,50,000 doses of the vaccine manufactured by the Serum Institute of India in January. UK's Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said the roadmap for easing England's coronavirus lockdown is still on track, even as a third wave of infections hits Europe. Outdoor gatherings are allowed from Monday, with more restrictions due to be eased on the 12th of April. Speaking at the Conservatives' virtual Spring Forum on Saturday, Mr. Johnson said that nothing in the data dissuaded him from continuing along that roadmap to freedom. His comments came after data showed a recent steep fall in infections were starting to level off. Foreign travel will be banned until at least the 17th of May.
In Philippines, Manila and nearby provinces will return to stricter quarantine measures from Monday as the country battles to contain a surge in COVID-19 cases. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque said the measures, which will be in place until April the 4th, will ban non-essential movement, mass gatherings, dining in restaurants. The Health Ministry on Saturday reported 9,595 new coronavirus cases, marking the second straight day the daily jump in infections remained above 9,000. Germany's Health Minister Jens Spahn said on Saturday that the country will receive the first small delivery of Johnson & Johnson's single-dose COVID-19 vaccine in mid-April. It will give the country a further shot to help speed up its vaccination program. At an online event, the minister said he expected a shipment of around 275,000 doses in the week of April the 12th. Mr. Spahn said that after this, import will be ramped up to millions of doses. Johnson & Johnson's shot, which was approved by the European Union regulators on March the 11th, is the fourth to be endorsed for use in the EU after vaccines from Pfizer-BioNTech, AstraZeneca, Oxford University and Moderna. Germany hopes to ramp up vaccinations from next month when it expects to receive 15 million doses from 3 other suppliers. This is All India Radio giving you the world news.
US President Joe Biden has invited 40 world leaders, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to the Leaders' Summit on Climate to underscore the urgency and the economic benefits of stronger climate action. The two-day summit will be held virtually on the 22nd and 23rd of April and will be telecast live for public viewing. The White House said that it will be a key milestone on the road to the United Nations Climate Change Conference this November in Glasgow. Besides Mr. Modi, other leaders invited for the summit include Chinese President Xi Jinping, Russian President Vladimir Putin, Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga, Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Saudi Arabia King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, and UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. The summit will reconvene the US-led Major Economies Forum on Energy and Climate, which brings together 17 countries responsible for approximately 80% of global emissions and global GDP. President Biden also invited the heads of other countries that are demonstrating strong climate leadership and are especially vulnerable to climate impacts or are charting innovative pathways to a net zero economy.
A fresh effort is underway to refloat a giant container ship blocking Egypt's Suez Canal. The Suez Canal Authority said 14 tugboats are trying to take advantage of Saturday's high tide, and more will arrive on Sunday if the ongoing attempt fails. The Ever Given became wedged in the canal on Tuesday. More than 300 ships are stuck on either side of the blockage. Some ships have had to reroute around Africa. By late Friday, dredgers had removed about 20,000 tons of sand from around the Ever Given's bow, which was stuck deep into the canal's bank. Roughly 30% of the world's shipping container volume transits through the 193 kilometers long Suez Canal daily. Meanwhile, the Indian Ministry of Commerce and Industry has said that a 4-point plan has been chalked out to deal with the situation arising from the blockage of Suez Canal. In Myanmar, many protesters have reportedly been killed on the 76th Armed Forces Day on Saturday. The day marks the start of resistance by independent power against the Japanese occupation in 1945. Local media reported that up to 90 have been killed, although the numbers are difficult to be confirmed. Coup leader Min Aung Hlaing in his live broadcast on Saturday in the Armed Forces Day TV address, pledged on elections but gave no timetable. He said violent acts that affect stability and security in order to make demands are inappropriate. The killings drew international condemnation with multiple diplomatic missions to Myanmar.
A demonstration was staged in front of the European institutions in Brussels to mark the genocide committed by the Pakistani army in Bangladesh in 1971, wherein thousands of people were slaughtered. The civil society and human rights organizations in Europe as well as the Bengali organizations called for a global acknowledgement of the genocide as it remains unrecognized in comparison to the other genocides in Europe and Africa. Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press.
The New York Times says that China, with $400 billion Iran deal, could deepen influence in Mideast. The Guardian reports that Australia threatens to take China to WTO and backs Boris Johnson's stance on Uyghur abuses. The Sydney Morning Herald writes that Prime Minister Scott Morrison is among 40 leaders invited by the Biden administration to a high-powered climate change summit in April, a meeting designed to spur a raft of ambitious new carbon reduction pledges from global leaders. The Global and Mail reports that Hong Kong residents shifted billions to Canada after China imposed a sweeping national security law. It also reported that despite shortages, Zimbabwe hesitates to take Chinese COVID-19 vaccines. And Gulf Times writes that North Korea accuses Biden of provocation after missile test. Reshma Tiwari for AIR World News.
In shooting, India is leading the medal tally with 13 gold, 8 silver and 6 bronze medals in the ISSF World Cup competition in Delhi on Saturday. India's Vijayveer Sidhu and Tejaswini claimed gold medal in the 25-meter rapid-fire pistol mixed team event. In badminton, Indian men's doubles pair of Krishna Prasad Garga and Vishnu Vardhan have entered into the finals of the Orleans Masters tournament in Paris. They beat England's Callum Hemming and Steve Stallwood in the semi-finals 21-17, 21-17 today. Krishna and Vishnu will now play the summit clash tomorrow. Moving on to cricket, India will clash with England in the third ODI at the Maharashtra Cricket Association Stadium in Pune on Saturday. The two teams are currently level at 1-1 and all eyes will be on the decider in Pune. The match will start at 1:30 p.m. Indian time.
A quick look at the headlines once again. India and Bangladesh signed 5 MOUs in various fields in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his counterpart Sheikh Hasina in Dhaka. Prime Minister Modi says both countries want to see stability, love and peace in the world instead of instability, terror and unrest. US President Joe Biden invites 40 world leaders, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to virtual global summit on climate. Bhutan has launched its biggest inoculation drive against COVID-19 with the vaccines provided by India. In shooting, India's Vijayveer Sidhu and Tejaswini claimed gold in 25-meter rapid-fire pistol mixed team event of ISSF World Cup in Delhi. And in badminton, Indian men's pair of Krishna Prasad Garga and Vishnu Vardhan storm into the finals of Orleans Masters tournament in Paris. India is celebrating the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Before we end, let us listen to his favorite bhajan, Vaishnav Jan, by artists from Denmark.
Vaishnav Jan tu पीने कहिए के पीड़ पराई जाने रे पर दुखे उपकार करे तोए मन अभिमान नाणे रे वैष्णव जन तू तेने कहिए के पीड़ पराई जाने रे सकल लोग ना सहले बंदे निंदा न करे केने रे वाच काछ मन निश्चल राखे धन धन जननी रे
And with that, we end this bulletin. See you at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.